In this video we are going to see TREND AD05-P/AD10P non-spring return direct coupled damper actuator overview and technical datas. Welcome to Controls and Systems YouTube channel. Overview. This non-spring return direct coupled damper actuator provides modulating, floating and two-position control for air dampers, VAV units, air handlers, ventilation flaps, louvers, and reliable control for air damper applications with up to 1 square meter for 5 Newton meters and 2 square meters for 10 Newton meters. If power is removed, the shaft adapter remains in position. Setting units and control elements: 1 is universal shaft adapter, 2 is mechanical end limits, 3 is D-clutch button, 4 is function selection switch, 5 is removable access cover, 6 is anti-rotation bracket, 7 is M20 cable gland. Electrical data: supply voltage is 24 volt AC or DC -15% and +20%, frequency is 50 or 60 Hz. Power consumption for both AD05P and AD10P model actuator is 5 VA, 2 watt, modulating signal is 0 to 10 volt, floating in two-position signal is 24 volt AC or DC. Wiring diagrams: Terminal 1 is 24 volt AC or DC, power supply. Terminal 2 is 0 volt or ground. Terminal 3 is 0 or 2 to 10 volt, control signal. Terminal 4 is 24 volt AC or DC, override supply. Terminal 5 is 0 or 2 to 10 volt, feedback signal. Mounting: the universal shaft adapter can be used for shafts of various diameters and shapes. Round damper shaft is 8 to 16 mm, square damper shaft is 6 to 13 mm, 45 degrees steps. Shaft length is minimum 41 mm. Material data: torque rating AD05P model actuator is 5 Newton meters. Rotation stroke is 95 degrees ±3 degrees. Full strokes is 60,000. Repositions is 1.5 million. Modulating DC or AC 50 or 60 Hz is 90 seconds. Floating DC or AC 60 Hz is 90 seconds. Floating AC 50 Hz is 110 seconds. Noise rating is 35 decibels A. Maximum at 1 meter, weight is 450 grams, dimensions: height 166 mm, width 66 mm, depth 62 mm. Safety data: protection standard is IP54. Protection class is 2 as per N 60731. Overvoltage category is 2, ambient limits. Operating limits is -20 to +680 degrees Celsius. Storage limits is -30 to +80 degrees Celsius. Relative humidity is 5 to 95%. Non-condensing. Anti-rotation bracket and screws: if the actuator is to be mounted directly on a damper shaft, use the anti-rotation bracket and screws included in the delivery package. The minimum distance between the center of the damper shaft and the middle of the anti-rotation bracket is 85 mm. A maximum of 108 mm is allowed. Depending upon the specifics of your mounting site, the actuator may shift in position slightly while tightening the screws at the top of the shaft adapter. The anti-rotation bracket features a T-piece with a 5 mm long shank to accommodate for this movement. Access cover. Once the access cover has been removed, please take care to avoid damaging any of the parts now accessible. The access cover can be unscrewed and removed in order to gain access to the terminal blocks and perform wiring. Accuracy. To achieve very exact positioning or synchronicity from several actuators running in parallel, ensure that the actuator does 1 synchronization run per day. That is, drive the actuator into the upper deadband, hold for minimum 3 seconds, then drive the actuator into the lower deadband, and then hold for minimum 3 seconds. Overriding. An override is a condition in which a 24-volt signal is applied to terminal 4 of an actuator in the modulating mode, thus causing the actuator to ignore the control signal at terminal 3. Whereupon it will instead move to a position of 50% of its maximum stroke. Limitation of rotation stroke. 2 adjustable mechanical end limits are provided to limit the angle of rotation as desired. the mechanical end limits must be securely fastened in place. To ensure tight closing of the dampers, the shaft adapter has a total rotation stroke of 95 degrees. After adjusting the mechanical end limits, the user should trigger adaptation. Manual adjustment. To prevent equipment damage, you must remove power or set the function selection switch to the service or off position before manual adjustment. After removing power or setting the function selection switch to the service or off position, the gear train can be disengaged using the D-clutch button, permitting the shaft adapter to be manually rotated to any position. If you have wired the actuator for a feedback signal, then, after adaptation, the feedback signal will follow the new position. Run modes. The function selection switch can be used to place the actuator into any one of 3 different modes. Modulating run mode. If the function selection switch has been set to one of the 4 modulating control settings and if the actuator is wired correspondingly, then as soon as operating power is applied, the shaft adapter will run first completely counterclockwise and then completely clockwise, after which it will run according to the control signals applied. Service or off mode. If the function selection switch is set to the service or off position, then all rotary movement is cancelled, and all control signals are ignored, thus allowing the actuator to be manually operated safely. Floating or 2-position run mode. Floating in 2-position run mode, direction for CCW closing dampers or reverse for CW closing dampers, mode. It will be working in without feedback signal and with feedback signal. Well, we hope this video is useful to you. Thank you for watching our video. We will meet in another good video. Have a great day.